abale ndi alongo tineneza kuti inuyo zoti kuli page ya My Focus simukudziwa, tipangeni subscribe lero komanso lauzeni kunena.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, though I'm no prophet, apostle, I have been requested to tell you what I think will happen in the future and how you can prepare for it. And as soon as I was assigned this task, I wondered if I should proceed with caution, because an old philosopher named Chesterton already warned us that there is a certain obsession with the future that comes from our fear of facing the past. But when I learned that the African political outlook was going to be here in Belgium, and also that its opening day would be at the African Museum, I knew that I was in no danger, because no African who is afraid to confront the past comes to Brussels or enters a museum. So allow me to submit that there are three forces of the future. Well, let's say three brushes that will be used to paint the future for all of us. When I look back to the day I was sworn in as Malawi's 6th president in June of 2020, and when I scan the journey I traveled from that day until when I left office last October, I see so many events I did not know were coming in the future. I did not anticipate how devastating COVID-19 would be 6 months into my presidency. I didn't know, or rather I did not anticipate that Malawi would be hit by 2 tropical storms back to back a year later. I did not anticipate that 3 weeks after that, a strain of polio from Pakistan would enter Malawi and infect a little girl, thus ending a stretch of 30 years in which Malawi had been polio-free. A polio-free status that took us 2 years of aggressive vaccination and awareness campaigning to restore. I did not anticipate that a week after that, the war between Russia and Ukraine would break out here in Europe, disrupting global supply chain by which Malawi accesses critical fuels, fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, all of which doubled or tripled in price overnight and continued to rise until the day I left office. I also didn't know that a week after that war broke out, the worst cholera outbreak in Malawi's history would start, which I had to declare a public health emergency by the end of the year because it spread to every district and was killing more people than COVID did. I did not anticipate either that only 3 months after that declaration, I would have to declare a state of national disaster as Malawi would be hit by Cyclone Freddy, the worst climate disaster in Malawi's history, destroying everything in its path across the southern region of Malawi, killing over 2,000 people, leaving over 500,000 homeless, dismantling billions of dollars worth of economic and public service infrastructure, and washing away a year's worth of food. I didn't know either that a year after that, I would have to declare another state of disaster after El Nino drought conditions destroyed almost half of Malawi's food crops and left over 5 million people facing hunger. I did not know that less than 6 months after that, a military airplane carrying my vice president would crash and kill him and 8 other officials, triggering a nationwide conspiracy theory about the cause of the crash, which continued to spread throughout the election cycle and continues to play out in Malawi to this very day. So we all must accept that the first brush that is painting the future for all of us is the hand of God. Which brings many things into our path that none of us can foresee or predict. And there's nothing you can do to prevent those things. So when they happen, you must do your best to respond to them with dignity. Do your best to make things lighter for those who suffer the most. Do your best to not make things worse by succumbing to bitterness. And do your best to accept the outcome with humility and civility, without believing in the lie that those unpleasant outcomes have happened as a result of your failure. You may be flawed, as President Mandela once said, but you are not a failure. The second brush that is painting our future is the people we associate with, by circumstance or by choice. Now, this is an area that you can do something about. By the simple act of being here at this summit, you have chosen to associate with the delegates who have gathered here. And you never know what role they will play in shaping what happens to you tomorrow. I was here in Brussels February 20 2022 to attend the AU-EU Summit. And one of the things that I and other heads of state negotiated was a change in the nature of the relationship between the African Union and the European Union. From a donor-recipient relationship to a partnership of equals, which we then embodied in the Global Gateway Package that included 150 billion euros for Africa's green transition. But because I was here in person and made certain associations, during this trip this week, I have been able to go back to the European Parliament to make recommendations to the leadership here or there on how that package can be leveraged and managed better going forward or moving forward. So do not underestimate the power of associations and bridge building. I know that there is a new geopolitical attitude traveling through Western democracies right now, and to try and destroy alliances and create a new world in which everyone only cares about themselves and where the most powerful can just go around the world taking from other countries whatever they want. But that is a movement doomed to fail, and a movement we should resist. And the way to resist it is to continue forming alliances that are constructive, to counter the spirit of the age, which really is an old spirit. It's an old spirit of King Leopold. Trying to make a comeback. It is doomed to fail because the human spirit hungers for connection and collaboration, not isolation and imposition. And it is also doomed to fail because the world is irreversibly interconnected now, not only through advances in international travel and telecommunication technologies, but also through global financial and logistical systems that bind us together. This means that anyone who tries to walk in this world as a lone wolf and act as though they don't need anyone else is engaging in delusions, and we'll soon find out they cannot go very far on any continent without needing allies. We all need each other. So I want to commend the organizers of this summit for being part of the resistance. And I believe that this investment in building national, regional, and global alliances is going to create a better future for all of us than burning bridges today, which we all need to cross to safety when the waters rise tomorrow. That is also why I accepted the Commonwealth's appointment to serve as its special envoy to Tanzania, where this past year they had an election which was not as peaceful and orderly as I managed to facilitate in Malawi. So we are going to see if we can help them build the bridges that have been broken there.
Tikuthokozeni pa chisankho chanu chomwe munasankha pokhala ndife amayi for us. Zomwe kwambiri takuthokozani.